Anne spends a genuinely suspicious amount of time in Season 3A without mentioning Sasha and Marcy, her two best friends on Earth, whom she has been separated from since returning to Earth. She's the only one who got back, and she does not know the fates of her friends. For all she knows, they could both be dead. She literally saw Marcy get stabbed through the chest, and yet she seems rather unconcerned with their fates. It's not that she doesn't care, it just does not seem like we are given any reason to believe as viewers that she is meditating on the loss of her friends, or that it is a loss that really discomforts and disquiets her. It certainly does not stop her from enjoying these fun little cutesy adventures of the day with the frogs. And of course, just because you've lost people you care about does not mean you have to be all sullen and morose all the time. But considering the misery she saw inflicted on Sasha and Marcy, and considering her uncertainty about whether they're alright, she does not seem particularly concerned about them. She mentions them briefly in The New Normal, and that's it. We get a brief mention of Marcy's name when Anne is flipping through her journal, but there's no emotion attached to it. She doesn't even spend a couple seconds wondering if Marcy is alright. Perhaps she could have glanced at a picture of her friends and then glanced away. Perhaps she could have been asked about her friends by her parents, since that would be a normal thing for parents to ask, and then not answer. Just a little hint like that into the web of her subconscious that she cares about these people, and that she is affected by what happened to them. There is indeed a major difference between repressing one's feelings and just not seeming affected at all. And her obliviousness and lack of concern for Sasha and Marcy extends to the rest of planet Earth. No one seems particularly concerned about the other two girls who disappeared and didn't come back when Anne did. But I will say I've complained enough about this in other videos, so if you just want to hear more of that, I recommend that you check out some of my other videos on Season 3A, especially the one wherein I discuss whether Season 3A is a little bit disappointing. No, I'm here to talk about one of the very good moments of Season 3A, that being the very end of the Christmas special, wherein Anne writes letters to Sasha and Marcy's parents, assuring them that their daughters are alright. It's a bit weird that she makes these letters anonymous, and it blunts their effectiveness. But it is at least a major acknowledgement of how lonely she has become losing her friends like that, and how much she yearns for them to be back, and how much she appreciates that other people have lost Sasha and Marcy, and what that must mean to them. She understands now what it meant for her mother to lose her, so she thinks about how Sasha and Marcy's parents must feel to lose their daughters as well. It's a nice, touching moment. As of now, when I'm recording this, we do not know much about what is going to happen in Season 3B. Brawley has intentionally not released a trailer for it. Yet, we do know that the episode that starts us off will be called Return to Amphibia, which is a good sign that they will in fact return to Amphibia. This was originally supposed to be the Season 3A finale, but because of Disney scheduling shenanigans, it got shifted all the way up to March 19th. So it will be the start of Season 3B, which I will not mind. It will be an exciting, compelling episode. Probably one of those episodes where a million things happen and we're left just a little confused and disoriented, trying to figure out what the implications of everything that happened will be. That Anne will return to Earth is furthered by the title of one of the next episodes that we will get on March the 26th, that being Sprivy, that being the ship name for Sprig and Ivy. For there to be an episode dedicated to this relationship, it's reasonable to assume that they would have to be in the same place together, and that would only happen if Sprig goes back to Amphibia with Anne. And from the title of that episode and the other episode in that block, Commander Anne, it seems like Anne is going back to Wardwood, where she might meet up with Sasha, which will be tense and very compelling as they try to work out all their grievances with each other and all the conflicts that have grown between them. So what will happen to all the characters on Earth once the show does go back to Amphibia? Will we spend time with them? I'm not sure, and I'm not sure whether I want to spend more time with them. It is true that I was never one for spending a lot of time with these characters in the first place. As much as I love all our characters of the day, especially the IT gals, cutting out half of them and replacing them with more Sasha and Marcy sections, or even more sections just about the citizens of Wardwood, would be welcome. Yet, considering the show did make that choice to spend so much time with them, ignoring them now would feel kind of incompetent and a bit anticlimactic. That would be the show basically admitting that these characters were not introduced for anything except a few laughs, that they do not contribute any major role to the overall progress of the story or of these character arcs. And the characters I want to see them spend more time on are characters that we have not really gotten to know very well, meaning Sasha's parents and Marcy's parents. Sasha's parents we haven't met at all, and Marcy's parents we just saw briefly in the flashback at the beginning of True Colors. These characters are important because they are enormous influences on the fragile psyches of Sasha and Marcy. Their influence on these girls, while it might not be intentionally malevolent, move these two girls, who are still, I must stress, young teenagers, to not want to return back to home and instead stay in this wild, dangerous, chaotic, alien frog world. I want to see these characters. I want to see what they're like. Not necessarily because I want this huge expo dump on why they reacted the way that they did to their kids disappearing and why they perhaps haven't contacted Anne, or even how they explicitly treated their kids. I don't necessarily need to know that, but I need enough information about their personalities that I could perhaps make a connection if I wanted to. And also, they might not be so happy to receive these letters. They might not believe Anne is telling the truth. I know she's trying to be a good person, and her heart is in the right place, but she might be doing more harm than good. If you received an anonymous letter stating that your kids were trapped in another world, but that, oh yeah, they're okay, would your fears be ameliorated? Probably not. I want to see the tensions between them and Anne play out. probably they realize the letters are from Anne. Whether she directly tells them at some point or whether they just guess. Perhaps they don't believe her and think that she's manipulating them and mocking their grief and their sorrow. Or perhaps worse, they do believe her, and they wonder why she was the only one who came back, which would amplify the survivor's guilt that Anne is probably feeling at this point. The other two are trapped in uncertain and perilous circumstances while she gets to have all the fun adventures. That at least should be weighing on her psyche. I want to see other characters confront Anne with that which she does not want to talk about. Scenes like this are what the Earth episodes could have been, and what I wanted them to be, and there's still little space for those episodes to still be that, at least in Season 2B. Anne does not want to talk about her falling out with Sasha and Marcy. She does not want to talk about all the challenges and difficulties that lie ahead for her, both personally in terms of repairing these friendships and, of course, all that existential save the universe kind of stuff. But she might be challenged by Marcy's parents or Sasha's parents to stop being evasive. She might have to give a real, earnest response detailing what happened to these girls in a way that she doesn't want to, and in a way that she has been tiptoeing around all throughout Season 3A. It would be a devastating moment for Anne trying to figure out how to carefully mollify Marcy's parents and Sasha's parents while still revealing the truth to them, especially since that truth is not necessarily what these parents would like to hear. They certainly would not want to hear that their daughters do not want to return to Earth. This would be a difficult situation for even the most experienced and sang-froid-infused veteran to handle, but for someone like Anne, who is very impulsive, very jumpy, and very anxious about the prospect of reuniting with her friends, it would be haunting, and it would be an opportunity for the show to demonstrate her character growth. It would be an opportunity for her to recognize the formidable challenge talking to these parents is, perhaps as much of a challenge as any of the monsters she's fought, and still brave that challenge regardless. That would be an interesting route for the show to take, and I hope it does in fact take that route. So thank you all for watching. If you liked what you saw today, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Donate to my Patreon if you can and you want to see more videos like this. It has been an honor and a privilege to get to talk about Amphibia with y'all over the last year or so, and as the show ends, I wish you all the best. I hope you continue watching these videos on my channel even after the final credits roll on Amphibia. Anyway, tune in soon for my next analysis. It will be coming soon. Promise you that. Thank you all again. Adios, comrades.